on the Hawkeye Sports Network from Learfield. This is the Fight for Iowa podcast, brought to you by Athletico Physical Therapy, proud partner of the Iowa Hawkeyes and the Big Ten Conference. Iowa's corn farmers of the Iowa Corn Growers Association and Iowa Corn Promotion Board. You may think Iowa grows corn, but the truth is corn grows Iowa. Shields, we're right there with you in Des Moines, Sioux City, Iowa City, and Cedar Falls. University of Iowa Healthcare. Changing medicine, changing lives. This is the Fight for Iowa podcast. Here's the voice of the Hawkeyes, Gary Dolphin.
Iowa football All-American defensive back Cooper DeJean is expected to keep the string of first-round Hawkeyes going when the National Football League draft rolls around later this month. It's anticipated DeJean's name will be called anywhere from 15th to 25th in round one. Cooper impressed at his pro day workout Monday after spending a couple months training on the West Coast with former Hawkeye and Green Bay Packer #1 selection from a year ago, defensive lineman Lucas Van Ness. The pride of Oddebolt Arthur, Battle Creek, and Ida Grove. Cooper DeJean joins the Fight for Iowa podcast following messages from sponsors UIHC, Iowa Corn, Shields, and Athletico.
More of the Fight for Iowa podcast after this.
When it comes to your health, you need the full picture. That means the right diagnosis and the right treatment right from the start. I'm Aaron Bose, pediatric neurologist with University of Iowa Healthcare. Here, we're working together every day to advance medicine so you can get the best care. With more research, more clinical trials, and more treatment options than anywhere else in the state, the University of Iowa Healthcare is changing medicine and changing lives. Learn more at uihc.org.
Are aches, pains, or injuries keeping you on the sidelines? At Athletico, our movement experts are here to help you turn your setbacks into comebacks and create a personalized game plan for your recovery. With no prescription or referral needed, Athletico Physical Therapy is where your comeback story begins. Get started today by scheduling a free assessment at athletico.com. Proud partner of the Iowa Hawkeyes.
To anyone passing through our state, fields and fields of corn might be what they see. But the people who call Iowa home know it's so much more. Corn is ethanol, a homegrown, renewable fuel. Corn is delicious pork, beef, poultry, and dairy. Corn is in 4,000 products we rely on every day. So yeah, our highway views are full of corn. And we're proud of it. Because corn grows Iowa. Show your support for Iowa corn farmers at iowacorn.org/fan of corn.
Now back to the Fight for Iowa podcast. Here's the voice of the Hawkeyes, Gary Dolphin.
The broken bone in his fibula suffered last November, now completely healed, has Hawkeye defensive back Cooper DeJean flying high with the NFL draft right around the corner. At his recent pro day in Iowa City, DeJean ran 40 times of 4.3 and 4.45 with a 38.5-inch vertical. Between the years, DeJean is just as healthy and engaged.
You know, right now, it's been a long process, you know, going through this. You know, I've been blessed. You know, it's my first major injury. You know, so it's been a little different for me. You know, just going through this whole process. You know, trying to be patient with everything. You know, but it's been good. You know, I've been feeling really well the past few weeks here. You know, and I'm ready to get back out on the field and show what I can do.
You know, great point. You've not had a serious injury in your career resulting in this kind of a layoff. What's been most strenuous about the recovery period in your mind?
I mean, just the patience side of it. You know, just because you can't rush things like this. You know, coming back. You know, you want to let them heal the right way. You don't want to rush anything. You know, to cause problems down the road. So just really taking my time with the recovery process and trusting the physical therapy people, the doctors, trusting those guys, you know, and their word and just continuing, you know, each and every day coming in, you know, trying to get better, get the leg better in some way, shape or form, you know, but it's it's gone well. So I'm happy to be back going full speed again.
Yeah, I'm guessing self-restraint, patience are not your strengths.
Yeah, no.
All we got to do is watch you play.
Yeah.
Well, that's good to hear. Because draft day is fast approaching. You've got a bunch of teams that want to see you work out. And given the need for recuperation time in between workouts or visits and draft day, just 3 weeks out, you feel that you're 100% strength-wise back to where you were.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I've PT's gone good so far. I feel good running on the field, breaking. Doing all those different movements that I was doing before. Obviously there's little bumps in the road, throughout the process, but that's kind of part of it. But I'm happy with where I'm at right now and how I feel. So.
Uh, uh, Tell us, have you had conversations with a lot of clubs? Is your sense they see you more as a safety, a pure cornerback, or a combination of the two positions?
Yeah, there's quite a few. There's a few teams, that see me at different positions. Some teams see me as a safety, some teams see me as a corner. Even the nickel spot. Some places. So I've had a lot of good conversations with teams. It's really just where they see, I can fit best in their system. What I've said, you put me out on the football field to play football. That's what I'm gonna do. No matter where I am on the field. So I'm excited for this upcoming draft and to see how it shakes out.
Uh, Punt returns, kick returns, has that come up too? I'm sure it has.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I've talked to just about every team I met with at the combine, at least about special teams and returning. And they've asked me if that's something I'd like to do. Obviously, that's something I take a lot of pride in. So obviously, I'm gonna say yes. So.
Cooper, what are the takeaways from your 3 years at Iowa? I mean, you played very little in your first year. The college experience playing in Kinnick Stadium, playing for Kirk Ferentz and Phil Parker, the great conference that is the Big Ten, and how has all of that prepared you for what we all hope is a long, successful NFL calling?
Yeah, it was a dream come true, really, being a kid from the state of Iowa, playing at Iowa, growing up, going to games there, and being able to put on the black and gold and play in Kinnick Stadium for a historic, head coach, really storied coaching staff. You got Coach Parker, one of the best defensive coaches in the country. So I just feel like it's really a professional type environment at Iowa. And I feel like it's prepared me well for this moment and my future in football, and not only football, but whatever I decide to do after football as well.
Did you have a favorite pro team growing up? I'm sure you did. Who was your favorite NFL club?
Yeah, being in Iowa, no pro team obviously. So the closest team is probably the Vikings. So that's who I cheered for growing up. But my family was all mixed up. So my parents and youngest brother, they cheer for the Broncos, and my middle brother cheers for the Chiefs. So it's kind of all over the place there.
Well, geographically, you've got Western Iowa covered there: Vikings, Broncos,
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
Chiefs. No Packers, no Bear fans.
No, not in my family, but in Odebolt, Iowa, there's quite a few Packer fans and Bear fans. So.
Cooper DeJean recalls watching Hawkeye secondary greats Desmond King, Micah Hyde, and Geno Stone while in grade and high school. But it doesn't stop there. He's studied George Kittle and T.J. Hawkinson, Josie Jewell, and Noah Fant. He's played with Van Ness, Tyler Linderbaum, Jack Campbell, and Sam Laporta. That's all the motivation DeJean needs.
Just seeing what those guys are doing, in the NFL right now and how they're excelling. It's really cool to see, especially guys you play with like Jack and Sam with the year he had. I'm out here training with Lucas out here in California right now, so it's been cool to hear his experience. Obviously the guys that have been there for a while, Micah Hyde, I remember watching him, as a little kid play. Geno Stone, his story is pretty unique. I think he got cut a time or two from the Ravens, came back, had a great year this past year. Now he signed a really good contract, so it's really cool to see those guys do their thing in the NFL. And it really gives you that extra motivation and confidence that coming from Iowa, you can do this as well. They prepare you well. So I'm looking forward to it.
In just 30 career collegiate games, Cooper DeJean logged 120 tackles, 85 solo, with 5 for loss, and 7 interceptions. 3 of those returned for touchdowns. He added a 70-yard punt return for a score and led the Big Ten in yards per punt return. The NFL scouting report on the 6', 205-pound DeJean reads, in part, elite athletic skills, gap-closing speed, hawking in front of balls, disciplined technique and size, who can play slot or corner with the ability to adjust and react, instinctive and physical, and healthy again. Hawkeye spring football practice continues through April 20th and a scrimmage that's open to the public in Kinnick Stadium. Doors open that morning at 9:45. The public display begins at 10:45. There's no admission charge and parking is free in the usual lots. Quarterback Cade McNamara won't play, but he will be on the sideline with new offensive coordinator Tim Lester, continuing to learn what new plays there are and the language implemented with the calls. McNamara is moving around, throwing, rehabbing that torn ACL suffered in the Michigan State game the end of September last season. McNamara threw 90 passes up until then, with 46 completions, 4 for touchdowns in 4 games. Cade feels good, and the recovery process is right on schedule.
I think, we're right on pace, if definitely earlier than I was expecting in terms of when I got injured. But right now, my strength, I think that's the biggest thing that I'm noticing is just the amount of work that I've been having to put in. It's starting to pay off as I'm starting to run now, and I feel really strong, which is a really good feeling.
Well, you've been through this process once, unfortunately, with the other knee. How does this change your step back, your plant, your delivery? I guess it's getting over the mental part of it, biggest thing.
Yeah, I think it's really, I just noticed that this surgery has been so much different than the other one, and just kind of noticing, where are the things that don't feel natural right now, where are the areas that I still feel like I need to strengthen or loosen. I think like a lot of that stuff is just kind of a day-to-day process that, some days are feeling better than others, and then those are the days that, I have to work on different things. So I think overall, it's so much different than the first one, but at the same time, it's like, it's kind of, it's a nice, it's a challenge. And I think it just going through it, it's been a really, moving process.
So you feel by June you'll be pretty well 100%?
Yeah, I think by June, we should be, I'm already running and cutting right now, but I think by June we should be really hitting stride.
The Hawkeyes open the season at home August 31st with Illinois State, followed by Iowa State September 7th in Kinnick. Big Ten home games feature Wisconsin, Nebraska, Northwestern, and the Washington Huskies in October and November. Congratulations to Iowa women's wrestlers Nyla Valencia and Brianna Gonzalez. Both have qualified for the Olympic trials in State College, Pennsylvania, April 19th and 20th, after winning titles at a qualifier last weekend in Fairfax, Virginia. Valencia, a redshirt freshman, championed at 50 kilograms, and Gonzalez, likewise a redshirt freshman, captured the 53-kilogram division. The Olympic Games are this summer in Paris. That's this week's Fight for Iowa podcast. We appreciate your attendance. Until next week, I'm Gary Dolphin. Go Hawks!
You've been listening to the Fight for Iowa podcast. Hawkeye fans, remember to hit the subscribe button on your favorite podcast app. Once you become a Fight for Iowa podcast subscriber, you'll automatically receive the latest episodes of the Fight for Iowa podcast, the Hawkeye Women Rise podcast, Hawk Talk replays, exclusive game content, and more. Until next time, on Iowa and go Hawks! The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Hawkeye Sports Network.